I'll tune in. If I see any issues, I'm just going to comment.
All right.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
I'll hold myself to the producer.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Nice. We are live.
I'm going to tweet out the link. All right, we're live. Welcome to the Spinnin Backfist show for, what is today? Tuesday, August 23rd. Always say the date. I didn't realize till doing this show that like Dave getting the date wrong in the rundown every day, it's pretty forgivable.
Yeah, I mean, especially once you start, you're on the spot. You're like, it's August. I feel like we're on a calendar where more it's about like the day of the week
Totally.
than it is.
I know
like, the
Tuesday every
actual-
time. I know
the
Tuesday and
date
Thursday.
itself.
Yeah. We're here. It's Robbie, it's Big Ev, and it's Jack Mack. He'll be joining the table in just a sec. There he is. And we're going to be talking about UFC 278, the crazy fighting weekend that there was in general. We had Rough and Rowdy. We had Mike Perry versus MVP Bare Knuckle. We had Joshua Usyk. And is that how you say Usyk?
Yeah, but it was Usyk. Yeah,
Joshua Usyk in boxing. I didn't actually watch that fight. I saw the highlights. And obviously we had UFC 278.
PFL as well.
PFL as well. Kayla Harrison fighting. It was a crazy fighting weekend.
Lockname looked amazing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I was disappointed because I was on Wade and obviously Long Island Killer, but Kayla it was easy.
Of course, yeah. And then she cut a great promo afterwards as well. She
Yep.
was like, tell the Brazilians to take off their sneakers and stop running. It was good.
It's great. I mean, it's like, I guess you got to start with Leon, though.
Of course, yeah.
I-
UFC 278. Crazy. It was a great pay-per-view, but the main event, it was going just as we thought it would for 95% of it. Well, maybe 90%. The first round didn't go as we thought it would.
Well, I guess I'll say I thought I said it was. I was on record. I thought it was going to be a close fight.
Okay.
I saw you had tweeted out because I forgot you were injured. We didn't get to kind of like do the breakdown.
I ran
you.
off the podcast.
But
Literally.
I did see your tweet that you thought he was going to win easily.
Yeah.
Not that I want to give myself. I thought it was going to be closer. Then it kind of wasn't closer, and then he won. I did bet on him. On Edwards. It initially was like not huge, and then I had a really big gambling day, so I was like, "Oh, fuck it." And he got up to plus like 310, which I thought was crazy. That
Just
was
money line.
My stance on it was I thought Usman was going to win, but I thought that he was not going to be worth the price.
Okay.
Like I thought it was going to be close, and then I felt really good about it after the first round. That I think Edwards clearly won.
Mhm.
Not that it mattered because he ended up losing the rest of the rounds until the knockout.
He got a
but-
full takedown into full mount,
Yeah.
like got the back.
and it was legit like very dangerously going after the submission.
Yes.
I haven't slept since then. That night I legitimately did not fall asleep till 6 a.m. I was that
Oh my
wired.
God.
Just as like a fan of the sport and just of like sports in general. Like I truly believe that was like and obviously the people that watch this are big MMA fans, so they understand it, but I feel like the world of like just like sports in general,
It's like
that was like an
28-30.
all-time moment
Yeah.
in like the history of just like obviously MMA. I think it's one of the, considering stakes, everything, I think it's one of the best knockouts of all time.
Yep.
When you consider the time left in the fight, when you consider the championship 5th round, when you consider Kamaru Usman being considered the pound for pound one, when you consider Leon Edwards, people not giving him much of a chance.
Nope.
He's not a very vocal guy. He's a guy that I think, unless you're like a hardcore MMA fan, you are not really even familiar with.
Probably
A
not.
guy who, if he lost this fight, was definitely not getting a shot again, for sure. Was probably never getting a title shot ever again. Even it has nothing to do with his skill, but just purely kind of the way he probably marketed himself and the
Waited around a long time for a title shot.
Zaz in the chat. He was devastated.
Yeah,
he was
that is devastating.
his favorite MMA UFC fighter of all time is Zimbabwe's own Blood Diamond.
yeah.
But Usman, I know Zaz been. When we did the Spinning Backfist watch along live during quarantine,
Yeah, with that Usman
that was
Masvidal,
Usman Masvidal.
Yeah.
And Za was on it. And it was a big
he
time
was
for him.
big time rooting for
Yeah.
Usman. Yeah, against a lot of us rooting for Masvidal, looking for some kind of crazy BMF finish in that first fight, which we didn't get. We got a lot of foot stomps, but I agree with you, Ev. We were listening to John Anik call it afterwards. Like Joe Rogan said, that's the greatest head kick knockout in the history of the sport. I saw some people being like, did he forget about Ronda Rousey? No. Like this is way different in that
Way
like,
different.
that fight started and pretty much instantly
Holm dominated,
everyone's
yes.
like, oh my God, Holm is like actually better than
And
Ronda.
Ronda was hurt before she got head kicked.
Oh yeah, she got
was
hit with a
like-
punch and like
yeah,
went down, kind
yeah.
of like
And
She,
then-
she was getting beat up the whole time.
N-
this
not
was
to
like
take away
Leon
from
was
home.
Leon was morally like defeated in the corner in the
Yeah,
fourth round.
And the unbelievable.
They're like, stop fucking feeling sorry for yourself.
And then Dean
Leon-
Thomas
And the-
was like, he's
and
ashamed to look at his trainer.
The
Yeah.
setup was so perfect of the broadcast where Rogan brings up, he's like, I think he might just be like settling for a moral victory of a decision.
Yep.
Then DC was like, yeah, Dean Thomas said the same thing. Like, I kind of agree. And then Anik, of course, being the GOAT that he is, says that's not the cloth from which he is cut.
Yeah.
Bang, head
Yeah.
kick knockout.
Unbelievable
Like,
timing on it.
Perfect. Like,
And
Yep.
their call of it was so perfect too because it was genuine shock. There was
And
just
it-
a moment he just
and he
goes,
said,
"No!"
and it goes, no way.
Yeah.
And knew.
It was
Unbelievable.
such a good call. It was like my girlfriend fell asleep during the fight. I, of course, woke her up the second that happened because I was screaming my head off in my apartment. Just, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And seeing his body language, seeing Leon's body language change immediately to like doing the McGregor walk, strutting around.
He's up on the cage. He's like
dancing to the Rocky theme, like
The
them
Rocky
playing the
theme
Rocky
after
theme
the whole thing was
amazing.
unbelievable.
The smirk right after he knocked him out, when he was walking over to go see Dana, he had this like, it wasn't like a massive smirk, but he was like,
He
I
was just
got
like,
him.
Holy
Like, he was like,
shit.
I got
Even
him.
the way he walked away from, put the arms
Just
up
the straight
immediately,
arms
knew
up,
it
like
was
he just was
done.
like he's out.
He
cold.
wa-
He was
yeah.
out of it. He was on another planet. And Joe Rogan
His brother
afterwards
was great.
asking
His
to
Fabian,
see
brother
it.
ran
Yeah.
up and just
Yeah,
hugged
that
him
was
up.
awesome, too.
Oh my god!
Rogan-
I'm like getting giddy again talking about
Rogan
it.
asking to see it 1,000 times afterwards.
He's like,
I
let me
love
see it.
so
Let me see
much.
it in real
He's
time.
just like, let me see it again. Just put it again because it was unbelievable. It was like it was fake.
but
He kept saying it
but
was like
just
it didn't happen.
but the way he like set it, like just docks him into it, like
the little
the
jab,
left-
the left,
with the kick right over it, where he didn't. And obviously those not like big knockouts are, you don't see it coming. Obviously,
No.
that's always pretty much how
And
it
he
is.
got it perfect right here.
just
Yeah.
right, like you started like,
yeah.
just out. I mean,
The way he
eyes
sat him
wide.
down and then
I mean, the way his body
crazy.
just crumpled, his eyes
Yeah.
wide open and just unconscious. And then even when he's celebrating, Anik literally, you could see what he was like Usman saying, "No,
No
way."
way,
He's like,
he
"You don't
is.
believe it." He doesn't
and
believe it.
people were saying he asked Trevor Whitman in the corner what happened.
Yes.
Trevor Whitman said it, and then right afterwards, Usman was like, "What happened?" Like it was just like a
So
cycle.
it's funny because Masvidal did the same thing when Usman knocked him out.
Yeah,
And I think that's got to be a certain thing where you fall. Obviously, Masvidal was like 50 fights plus. Usman obviously over 20. Where I feel like you just get a certain point where you fought so much, no one's ever even came close to knocking you out.
Yeah.
You probably can't even process that. I'm like, there's almost like an invincibility feel. I'd
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
he had it coming into the fight where it's like, I can't get knocked out. And just to say this a little bit, I think seeing something like that, I think the Izzy haters, you owe them an apology. Because that's why you don't do, that's why like you don't like get squirrely and with a minute left in a title fight where you're clearly winning.
and
I think that's an example of what can happen if you like, if you're, say for example, like Izzy just said, let me the last minute, let me just stand in the pocket with Jared Cannonier.
yeah,
Like when you're facing a guy who has like big power, like that's what can happen in the sport.
and he went after him like and tried to stand and trade for a lot of the fifth round because Trevor Whitman, I think, he told him to, and the fourth was like basically like, do what you did out there, like more of that, like give it to him, bring it to him like that. Do you think Trevor Whitman, as soon as he gets knocked out, like is blaming that on himself? Like, not that he should, but you think just like
Usman ate
mentally
everything.
in your head, you're the coach, you tell him to go out there and do
But
that. in the
Usman
fifth
ate
round, like-
everything all fight. Like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't, he was never really hurt. I'm sure he felt Leon's punches, but he was just like,
it didn't ever look like, you know,
like
they got through to him.
and like people were saying, oh, Usman's always been chinny. That's not chinny. That knocks out anybody.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
perfect. That
Oh,
was an
yeah.
off switch kick. Like
Off
where it's
switch,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
100%.
heard from like a really good source. He like even going back to when they took him to the hospital, not because they have to take him at that point, just to like check in, like everything's all right. He was still like in the ambulance asking like what happened. He's
Yeah.
like, I didn't win.
That doesn't surprise
Yeah,
me.
I
It
don't-
almost looked to me when he was on the ground, like first starting to come back to it, where he wasn't fully like unconscious anymore. I almost think he got up just thinking like the fight that was just like the end of the fifth round, and he was just kind of like
Yeah.
on the ground in an exchange. Like I feel like it took him a fully like being on the stool and Whitman talking to him, and he still was like not believe I
I
almost
can't
feel like
imagine that.
He was
feeling.
walking out of
the cage.
the
yes, like,
cage.
out of
They
the
had it
arena.
on UFC
Yeah.
like 10 minutes after
Yeah.
the knockout because he took some time, and he was walking out and he was like smiling and putting up his hands, walking out of into underneath the arena.
Usman was?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't realize it. I think
I
he
didn't even see that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
him walk. You're saying just walking out after the
I'll
fight.
show you.
right?
I'll show you
that,
right here.
like-
Did not. He put up like one arm. He was like pointing to the crowd. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like like sorry
Like,
guys.
it almost was like I don't think he had fully processed.
Yeah.
What like I think he still was kind of out of it,
Yeah.
and he hadn't fully processed what had happened. Yet.
Which you see knockouts like this every now and then. Like, yeah, I'm watching it now. He looks a little out of it.
Yeah, and he puts on
Yeah. Like
But
a
look, he's
smile,
like-
like
and
he's
then he's
going
like-
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Meatball knocked out Carolina in with the initial spinning elbow, the crazy one, when she got walked past us on press row, it was like she was in a different dimension. When Masvidal knocked out Askren, different dimension. That was crazy. Him walking past press row, he was just nowhere to be found. But I mean, one of the greatest pay-per-view endings of all time.
I think one of the
most
greatest sports
unexpected.
moments of all time.
I legitimately think like I tweeted it. I think that night that I think, and I don't even know if this compares. It literally was like hitting a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the ninth, Game 7 World Series, down 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's
3-0 too.
I don't
It might
even-
have
yeah,
been
like, I- yeah,
down
3-0. I don't even know-
7 though.
I don't know because
yeah.
I was like in football, you can't score a 30-point touchdown.
Exactly.
That was
yeah.
literally like what he did.
That's why,
Yeah,
like
so-
I said, 28-3, but it's like it maybe even be more. Usman was minus, like the last
Oh, a
live line
billion.
was minus
a
10,000.
billion.
Like,
yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
theoretically saying 99.999. Like,
I mean, he had the fight. He was up clearly 3-1, about to
and
be 4-1.
so in control of it as
Oh,
well.
100%.
I was so impressed by him. I was getting ready to. So I drafted up a tweet just because I was salty because I was on Leon and Usman won again, and I drafted up a tweet that he was cheating a lot, and then I pressed send, and then he was literally on the ground. I was like, oh my god! But I was getting ready if that didn't to tweet out like, I capped this so wrong. Usman's on a different level. I should have realized about the altitude. I should have realized that his cardio's on a different level, and he just Usman losing obviously hurts him, but still, to me, he's like probably up there pound for pound, top 5, top 4.
Yeah, I mean,
But like I don't think it even takes away from it. I guess it does take away from his legacy. You can't have that happen.
I think what it is, I think like there's going to be a rematch, and we'll obviously get to that. Like
GSP had it happen. You know?
Yeah.
not to that. He wasn't like
so
flopping around like that.
I think what it is, I talked about this a little bit on Pick Central. Actually, I forget if I mentioned it here. The more I kind of like thought about it, when you look at his title defenses, they're like Colby's very good, but it's Colby twice. He beat up
Gilbert.
Woodley, who literally hasn't won a fight since.
Yep.
Masvidal, who hasn't won a fight. I guess he's only fought one other person.
I mean,
hasn't
he
won.
did. Yeah.
And
He
older
wrecked
Masvidal and Gilbert, who like Gilbert's good, but I mean,
but rocked him.
yeah. And, yeah,
the
Gilbert
the two
touched
Colby
him.
ones are very impressive.
Yeah.
Because to me, so I think this is where we might do. I think Leon would beat Colby. I believe that.
Wow.
And this is.
I think he could.
But
This
wouldn't
is
Colby
why.
just do what Usman did?
But see, no. But I don't think Colby. What like for example, like what Colby did to like Masvidal, like just holding him down, like in that awkward position, kind of against the cage, where he's kind of like on you, he's in control. You like landing those kind of like the jackrabbit punches that kind of just like always on top of you. I don't think he could do that to Leon.
Why?
I think Leon's cardio is much better than Jorge's, and I think he's much more like athletic.
But Usman did it to Leon.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Usman could do it, but Colby can't.
But I think Usman.
Colby, I don't think Colby's strong enough. Kamaru's stronger. That's why.
The only thing I would say to that is then why didn't Usman do that to Colby?
I think the first fight, I think they just he's a better wrestler. Like Colby's a better wrestler than Leon is. So I think he just was like, fuck it. Like we can just get into this stand up
brawl.
war. And he's kind of done that. Like, I mean, he I guess he did it a little more in the second fight, but not really. I think it's more about Leon being more.
I think
with
Usman
Colby-
knows that Usman may be a little bit better than him at wrestling, but Colby's right there with him.
I think.
Yeah,
he's
no,
really
I agree.
close, yeah.
No, I agree, and that's why I think they just like sit in the feet. I don't know. I just think Leon would be able to handle the strength. Like Kamaru's so strong, but I don't know. I think
That
like,
was actually a great video of Colby's reaction to the fight
he
ending
just was like, oh
when
shit.
they like panned it to him and he was.
He
just,
didn't
like,
believe it.
stunned.
I bet he wasn't watching because he was like, "Oh, the fight's over."
And,
Probably
and
wasn't,
the thing
yeah.
too is it's different with like obviously now he learned it with Leon. Kamaru did. With Kamaru, it's easy to stay on the feet with Colby just because he knows like I'm not gonna get knocked out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Leon, he knows like now you can. And I think Leon would have kind of the same thing with Colby where he's like, he's not going, I can knock him out, he can't knock me out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little different level of like your mindset is different in that case. I don't know. I hope we see that fight down the road, but that's just my personal
It
opinion.
would be a very interesting fight.
I think Leon could beat him. I'd beat him. I'd be curious.
What would you line it at?
I think it'd be close.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably like minus like 110 each side, minus 120 Colby, minus 135 Colby, or even give it to Leon just based upon his hype. But like that's a fight that like if you gave me a plus 200 on Leon, I'm taking Leon.
Yeah, for sure.
But
and
like
listen,
if it's minus 110, I'm probably taking Colby.
That's fair. And I always say this, like I think Usman will win the trilogy with
Yeah,
Leon.
yeah.
I do.
What-
I believe that. And the line's literally the same as it was for this fight.
Now
Well-
you mentioned the Kamaru cheating tweet. Not that I'm going to say
The-
he's cheating.
No, he cheated multiple times.
The glove grabs.
So there were
Glove
some
grabs.
There were
He
some
grabbed
glove
the cage
grabs,
twice.
and there were 2 fouls that looked very strange on the replay. The
Also-
nut kick and the eye poke both didn't really.
Did you
look
see
like
the
they
reply
were-
to our tweets?
The one I almost like it was kind of just like a punch.
Yeah.
It was.
And he just
and then the nut kick was right on the
yeah, it was
belt
on-
line.
yeah, and he did that a little bit in I think it was the Masvidal fight he did that, or maybe it was
No,
the
he's a
Colby
cheater.
fight.
Yeah, he's Colby. Yeah, he
you
cheated
can't
against
be doing
Colby.
that if you're the the pound for pound greatest of all time champ. Like, it's a weird look.
Also, after the 4th round, after he just wrestle fucked him for 5 minutes, Leon got
the
up.
third- I think it was the
and
third
Usman,
round. Yeah,
the
yeah,
third,
yeah.
Usman didn't
Yeah.
let him walk away. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You're wrestling him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're playing the game better, but you're not some like tough motherfucker.
Well, I mean, we talk about that in the spaces. He kind of like gave him
Yeah.
the one of these, and I'm like, guy, like
And Herb was like,
you weren't
"Come
just
on,
like
dude."
mashing his
Herb
face.
was
in.
like, yeah,
you
he's like,
literally,
dude.
you literally just laid on him for like 5
Leon
minutes. and
too
you act
was
you're
like, Leon was like, dude, what? Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I gonna
Ali's
say?
reaction. Was
Ali's
another
reaction
was-
viral
Oh my God.
video.
fucking the king of cringe.
King of cringe,
mushed him.
easy money,
Easy money, Ali.
I know.
Dude, I love seeing like every person's different reaction.
Agreed.
Like even I've seen like Jalen Turner was in there.
Yeah,
had,
he
like-
was jumping up and
he was
down.
like that was just a
I think when
pure
you're in
fan
that
reaction.
moment, yeah, you're just like, I cannot.
I think
believe
so.
Because
Hudo at the
Jalen
same-
Turner was like me in my room. Like I was
Yeah.
like I could not believe it.
Yeah.
Cejudo was I think Cejudo wanted to go crazy, but he was like, I can't right now.
Yeah,
He had this
yeah.
smirk on his face, just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
But the
he's cool with Usman though, right?
yeah,
They're
he's
pretty
cool, like,
close,
he-
yeah.
Who?
Cejudo.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've called Eagle FC fights together.
Oh,
That's
really?
right.
Yeah,
yeah,
they
that's
like
right, that's
Cejudo's
right.
on with what's his name?
They're all good friends with like Khabib too.
Yeah.
Which also I want to say this too. So I watched Leon's interview with Hawani, which was great.
Mhm.
Also,
I saw a bunch of clips. from that.
Usman did an interview at TMZ already. It was yesterday, I believe, was when it was filmed. And Khabib kind of talked about, if you guys talked about, obviously, someone like him, where are you different after getting knocked out like
Mhm.
that? Usman did not seem like that to me.
Seemed just
Usman seemed like he was ready for like that he's not going to be phased by.
well. There was the
long-term.
weird speculation about that phone call with Dana that he left the end of the press conference. Did you see that?
Oh, yes. I was watching.
Dana
yes,
took the
yes.
phone call
And he just didn't say. They were like, "Who was that?" He he just
didn't
left.
say. He was like, "Good night, guys," and all he said was like, "I understand, great fight." That's what Dana said. And now people were speculating that it was Usman and that it was Usman calling him and retiring. I don't think that was it at all.
No, not at all.
I think
No,
it was, if
100%
anything,
no way.
if anything, I think it was Usman calling him and
Being
being
like,
like,
"I'm
"I want
sorry."
the fucking rematch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry," and Dana being
Mhm.
like, "Kid, like, don't fucking worry about
Yeah.
it. We're making a rematch."
Yeah.
Also, like we just had the most viral moment of the year.
Yeah, like, dude, don't
it's
worry
crazy
about
that we had the Yuri earlier in the summer, and the craziest in the last minute of the round, and then 3 months later we
we
got
get a
that
crazier one.
crazier by I think submitting a black belt.
Yuri was
But no,
more
but
back and
the-
forth
the
in the
mo-
whole
the
fight. They were like,
moment was
moments
crazy.
where
True,
he
true,
could've won, like-
It was
100%.
As
it
DC
was-
said, they
yeah,
were
they-
writing the obituary.
They were.
what was the quote? It's yanking the from victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yes.
Like that's literally what it was.
You're talking
Unbelievable.
about the grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. I feel like it's like if there was a trash can in the outfield and they were like, if you hit it into the trash can, it's game over no matter what the score.
Liam was gonna say hitting being down 3-0 in the NBA finals and hitting 4 buzzer beaters in a row.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
To,
it's
to win the
crazy, like,
finals.
the fact that and
There's no comparison because it's
No.
so volatile. It's so one of one. There's no real
the first one that came to mind for me was Yair hitting the crazy elbow on Zombie, but the stakes were just nowhere near
it's
this
a
level.
championship
Like,
fight.
it's not even close.
The pound for pound
pound for
one.
pound.
Ali
like,
was
yeah.
getting ready to call him the GOAT.
I mean, Dana the whole week leading up to it was saying he might be the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's right
Yeah.
there basically. He's the pound for pound one. And I said this too. I still think I literally have shivers every time I've went back and rewatched it legitimately
Yeah.
20 times the post fight. He said, look at me now. Look
Such
at me
so
now.
good.
What?
Pound for pound, headshot, dead.
Yeah.
That line, I literally get goosebumps when I say it myself. That is such a cold ass
Yeah.
line.
I came from the trenches. He kept saying that too.
He goes, wait, he's like, come from the trenches. He goes, we never stop till the final bell. Or something like that. He said, unbelievable. Honestly, that line is a line that Adesanya's been trying to say for like 3 fights.
I know, for real,
Just
yeah.
pound for pound, headshot. Or he actually said it before. He said it too. He was like headshot. And he literally went like this. He was like dead
to the camera. Yeah,
I was like,
he kept
oh my
like grabbing
God.
him. That the moment afterwards
Unbelievable.
where they got him like on FaceTime with his mom and his son, like
Dude, unbelievable.
crying, mama.
And
I
he
told
even
you.
he has his own Jordan picture.
Yeah. Oh my
of
God,
the,
I saw
the
that
picture of him like this,
Yeah.
holding the belt, and he's just like that like
It's a legit
that
Jordan
like
picture.
literally Jordan like the
Yeah.
same picture with the gold.
Wait, isn't that it? It's in the same arena,
Salt Lake.
Oh mate, oh my
Get
God.
out of here, is it?
isn't it?
Was
It's
that
in
where it
Utah.
was?
That was Jordan's first one. When that picture's from, I believe.
All right. Well,
That would've
Jordan
been
has
The
crazy.
one
won.
of him like legit crying, like holding it like this.
Yeah,
That was his first championship, which I believe was against
maybe the chat might.
Anyways,
maybe the Blazers.
he
maybe?
he did beat the Jazz and won the finals. His finals.
I think 2 of them he did.
in Utah.
At least one for sure. The last one he did. I think twice he did.
Crazy.
But still, it's pretty cool. Probably
I was
same
so
locker
happy
room.
for his whole team. Like they were going,
Dude, that was
they were so
unbelievable.
fired up.
His
Like,
brother was
the coach
so happy.
deserves it as much as he does after that fucking
That's
speech in the
unbelie-
fourth.
Unbelievable. Also, someone's
His manager Tim Simpson,
I
dude,
was right
great
there,
guy.
Francis.
I've met him before because he's through McGregor's management. Audie kind of brought him up. He was
McGregor must have been. I think he was a little tipsy on Saturday night. He
Oh
was
my
tweeting
God.
when
He's
he
doing
said
some wild
when he
shit.
said Usman's gonna he's gonna say
he's from
I'm
Pluto.
I'm from Pluto now. Like he works.
some crazy shit.
He
I
did-
saw
he
McGregor
doesn't like
commented
Usman.
on he commented on Molly's latest post.
Okay.
Molly
about the
posted
Rock
like a
thing.
spinning elbow
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and I think McGregor just commented like incredible, and she wrote like New York, we're bringing a war. It was a great post.
And he quote tweeted Spinnin Backfist as well.
He did,
That was
yeah.
insane.
And it was like a real like kind of viral tweet from him too, because he was going after Khabib, calling him like a rat again. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
What did he say about the title? He was like 170, like gimme or something.
Yeah.
No,
like
he was
that?
like, I would love to. He was like, I would love to have a like title fight again. Gimme.
Yeah. Like I'm sure you would. The co-main event was
Unbelievable.
insane too. To be honest, the Luke Rockhold Paul
Funniest
Costa
fight
fight.
ever.
It was the
just
best,
like,
worst fight of all time.
Luke Rockhold, the visual. of him Mid-fight, hands on.
Not mid-fight, after the first round.
yeah.
After the first
His
round, he
mouth
looked dead.
breathing wide open, like
But
just
then still just winding up these massive
fuck
bombs.
you,
Like, yeah.
throwing like big lefts and like landing huge.
Yeah, we get a false finish where Paulo Costa nut shots him and just
And then
runs
it's
away.
like-
Like,
That was like he won.
yeah.
Punched him
John
right in the
Anik is
dick.
like, no, this is not the
And
ending
it's,
of
I
the
love
fight.
to show the replay and it just square in the cops,
just like an
right in
uppercut
his
to the
dick.
dick. Yeah.
And then
The whole
after that,
crowd.
Paulo's just like sitting on the ground, like, fuck, I'm so tired.
Sitting
Yeah,
on
he's
the
like, I thought
ground.
it was
Luke
over.
Rockhold's pouring blood on his face. He's hyping the crowd up, like taking all the time he can. And then the third round, we just get more of the second round with Rockhold like winding up big shots, like
and the fun, throwing the most telegraph shots of all time,
Yeah.
and Paulo just doing nothing, just
Nothing.
getting landed,
walking
clean in the
right
mouth.
into him,
And
right
he was
directly
mouth.
into him.
And he
Chin
was
up.
like, who just hit me?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Paulo's the funniest. That was his last fight on UFC contract, right?
I
I
believe
think
so.
it was, and
I
that was
hope
part
they
of the
bring him
reason. Part of the
They'll
reason
br- I
Jake
think
Paul was
they'll
tweeting
bring
about
him
both
back.
of them is because Jake
Jake
Paul's
Paul.
like,
See, that was when I've defended him a lot and stuff.
He got
was a-
dominated
no,
by
he- no,
Ariel.
that- no,
Ariel
you-
killed him.
You don't listen. Like, I respect what he's done, everything, like the fighting, and like
yeah.
making money, but like you can't go in there and start trashing like warriors. Like,
No.
who, like you have not earned that respect.
especially when you try
With
to
a
make
dude who's
yourself
been
the
like-
I'm the fighter's guy. I'm
Yeah,
sticking up
no,
for
you
pay
can't- you
because
can't-
they're
you
putting their
can't say
lives on the
that.
line, and then
He may have never heard of Strikeforce.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
No.
You can't go in there, a dude who's been like putting on wars for
yeah, he
like
said
decades.
Luke Rockhold wasn't a pioneer, and like
I'm like,
in
yeah,
the
you
short
can't,
lifespan
like,
of
who are-
MMA,
No,
he definitely
he's-
is.
100%.
Well, I was hoping Paulo just like flatlined them so we could tweet out
Yeah, do
about
your
his like
homework,
Luke
yeah.
Rockhold. Yeah, like you should have done your homework. But he put on such a show. I was like,
I know.
I'm
it's
not
just like-
touching it. Yeah.
Even at the end, I wrote like he retired after the fight in my blog. I said like, hopefully that means no more like random shots at Barstool, but respect anyway.
It's funny.
because,
He's
come
been
on,
in the
that was
office
great.
like multiple times.
I know. It's very weird.
But
I think he just lumped us in with the Nelk boys a little bit. Just the
and maybe he
I
was
didn't
having
like
a bad
that.
weight cut. And he was just like
Yeah.
mad.
I mean,
at
he
the
was
war.
mad all week.
He was
He
mad.
was
all
That's
week.
what, no, I thought he was going to get knocked.
And then the end of the fight, him just like smearing blood all over Paulo's face. Did you
And then
see
Paulo
Paulo
was-
on Ariel's show talking about it?
Paulo's unreal. He's the
so
funniest
funny.
guy ever.
He was
No,
like, I
he-
took a shower immediately afterwards. That was disgusting.
he 100% runs his own Twitter.
Yeah, I think he does.
He was
After
like-
seeing his
absolutely-
When
interview,
Ariel asked him like, what does Chad mean? He's like, I don't know. The people, they call me Chad. I
Yeah.
think it means good, nice guy.
Yeah. He was great. He was great on Ariel's show.
I guess
He's
I will say
great
that
night of.
Jesse Adams, he was 6-5, but he also he's lost his last few that were against like he went up to like heavyweight. Like he
Rockhold?
he must have started what 6 and
When he won the belt
5 and
too,
1,
like
6-0, like or
Yeah.
something like that. Like very good start.
he was very, very good when he beat Weidman and won the belt.
I mean, there are people that legitimately consider him like at his prime, like one of
Yeah.
the best welterweights of all time when he was like at his best.
I mean, if he had cardio on
Excuse me,
Saturday night,
middleweight.
if he had cardio on Saturday night, I think he would have won.
he might have. Now
He-
it's tough to
yeah, I
say
mean,
that too, though,
'cause
because his
Paulo
cardio
was
was
dying
so
too.
bad.
Paula was dying too.
Yeah. No, they were both gassed.
Rocco was just dying.
But
a
I
little bit more.
think and this was something I didn't hear anybody bring up. Nobody capped the altitude. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people really downplayed
Leon did.
that. Leon
Like,
said after
Leon
he
knew.
was,
he said once he saw Aldo and then like the Rockhold fight, he
Yeah.
was like nervous about it,
yeah.
and maybe that was partly why. I don't
Aldo
know.
also saying he's retiring, which is crazy to
but
me.
Yeah.
he said it right after the fight. You know how some people
Yeah.
like
I
he
think
was
it's
probably
one of
so
those
devastated,
cases.
and then
Yeah.
maybe a few days later he's like,
I don't know how he thought he won that fight though.
yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked that he was like
I
raising his
think
hand.
sometimes you just don't even realize it.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
it was a
in the
tough
third
fight.
round. He literally, I don't know if he threw a punch.
Yeah,
He just threw so little.
and Marab
very,
like
very
almost
little.
looked like he kept getting better. Like listening
Marab's
to the coaches,
cardio
like,
is
really
unbelievable.
improving, like doing what they asked for specifically.
I also
He's
thought Marab's
really, really
striking
good.
was decent.
Yeah,
like I
but
mean, it
what-
wasn't Aldo, but
Yeah, when he did what he needed to do, he wasn't bad.
I had people saying to me because I wrote a blog saying that was like bantamweights. He's a problem for bantamweights, and people were like, "There's nothing impressive about that performance." You do
That's
that to Jose
that's
Aldo,
casual.
like
I was
come
gonna
on.
say it's casual, but also Dana literally said the same thing,
yeah,
which I was kind of surprised by. That I understand
Crazy.
it was not an exciting fight.
No,
And Dana's in the business of making exciting fights, so I understand where he's like he wants like these top contenders to really make that big splash, get that big finish, or be in that big war where you come out on top. That's obviously what he wants. Not an exciting fight. Aldo didn't really do anything offensively, so I do understand. I thought he would give him a little more credit because he also was like,
Dana
"You're
loves
fighting
Aldo too.
You're fighting Jose Aldo." Which then he dismissively said he was like, "I get he's fighting Aldo," but he didn't
Yeah.
do anything. He basically said he wasn't a guy who looked like he was hungry for a belt. So I don't know. Obviously he's not getting a title shot
And
next. I
Dana
don't know.
also said to me in my last interview with Dana, I said, like, what's one of your biggest pet peeves in the UFC that you hear from fighters? The number one thing that came to mind immediately, he goes, when someone tells me they don't want to fight the champ because it's their friend. And I was like,
okay, there you go. That's
and I immediately, like, I thought of that almost when I heard Dana, like, the comments
he
or
did
whatever,
mention
like,
that.
ooh, interesting.
Also,
Like, that was
he
the
al-
first thing he said, like that. Like, it is his number one pet peeve. I'm not fighting that guy because he's my friend.
And then Rogan asked Marab after, and Marab was like, "Stop asking me about
Which
this."
I
He
thought
he
was
like,
very
I
funny the
know
way
be
he
here
said
without
it.
him. That's my
Yeah.
brother. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, I would never
But
be
he's like,
here
stop
without
asking me this.
without
He's my brother.
Aljamain." And I love he kept just saying his full like Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
He kept saying his full name like every
Yeah,
time.
it was very. He
And-
actually
and
got a ton
Aljo
of
was just-
McGregor tweets as well.
For sure.
McGregor's tweeted
And
a ton
Aljo was
about
just
him.
kind of standing like right next to him, just kind of being
Yeah.
like, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, Marabs is obviously kind of.
Luckily, there's other people in the division. Yeah. Who
I mean, if
can
you
give
want to
that
talk about a
title
guy
shot
who like obviously just had a finish, like I mean, that would be Marlon Vera.
Yep.
Like that's a finish where like all right, like he clearly is hungry. He's been finishing everybody.
to, especially he beat Cruz too. It's like a
Yeah, like,
big
and, like,
title
a-
name. It's like
a,
a
like,
name. Like
highlight reel knockout where he was
Yeah.
going for it, landing big shots.
he
hurt him a
fucking
few
shattered
times.
his nose.
And
The slow mo of that was crazy when you could see his nose break. Yeah.
vicious,
Wow.
absolutely vicious.
So then there was
Two
the
head kick knockouts in a row and 2 UFC main events. Let's
Yeah.
keep that going because that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Instead of the two ending by injury early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We made up for it.
Yeah,
I
big
loved
time.
Rogan afterwards too. He was like, I love jujitsu. Listen, I love it. I love a submission. There's nothing better than a head kick. He's like
It's so
screaming his head
true.
off.
Oh my god, it's unbelievable. I still am like to this day, I'm still buzzing. I literally got met me and Chanel, RP producer Tom. Literally, I know when I get excited sometimes I don't realize that I just scream when I'm talking. And me and him were like talking over by the kitchen for like 20 minutes about everything. And I literally got asked like the Vibs, and he was like Big Ev. He was like, you got to go somewhere else. Like, we're filming lowering the bar. And then literally simultaneously on the other side of me, Tara was filming some like ad thing with Jeff Lowe, and he's like, like you gotta leave. You can't leave. I'm like, all right. Well,
You became like Loud Sean.
Literally,
You were
that's
clearing the
happening.
room out.
We went
He
down.
cleared the room out.
We went down the hall and finished the conversation.
Unbelievable. I get it because I was feeling the same. I texted the group chat the next morning, just like, I cannot believe that still happened, because I went back and rewatched it. I watched the co-main event into the main event, and then through the end of the broadcast, because I couldn't turn it off. Like, even after the fight,
too.
I just wanted to watch all of the aftermath. I love that the UFC does that, and like for a big moment like that, they stayed on the air 20 minutes
At least,
afterwards,
probably
like
25,
talking about it. It was almost like they let the commentators do a mini version of this and like recap the night, and it was awesome for it. And I even watched afterwards with like Okamoto, Anthony Smith.
Yep.
They brought Anik onto that, and that was great. Smith was like getting choked up, being like, I can't believe I just got to watch that. He's like, as a person myself who's always wanted that, who's had a title fight and has attempted that, he's like, I'm getting choked up watching him do that.
I almost was getting like that watching him talk with like the Hawani interview.
Yeah.
Like for me, the moment, it was so exciting. And then thinking after him, like him just being like, grew up in a fucking hut in Jamaica.
His father was murdered.
Like his dad was
14.
Like, he didn't even, his brother who's in Bellator, they didn't even meet till they were 6.
Really?
Yeah. Fabian. They didn't meet till they were 6 years old.
And what's that like for an old kid? Like just the mental stuff that he went through to get to this point. Like, it's crazy. His nickname is Rocky. He's a Rocky underdog.
Also,
story.
He's had a like tough run in UFC. He got taken out of the rankings in what, 2020?
And what he's went through, like I had forgotten about this part of it. When COVID happened, he was the first card that got canceled.
Yeah.
He was supposed to headline 02 versus Woodley, which was literally like a title eliminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had waited around for a title shot as well before that.
And what happened was they kind of fucked him because they basically said, you need to get to the US now so you can fight. And he was like, you might not be able to come back. Like I'm talking March 2020. Like COVID,
we didn't know anything about this.
Nothing, just starting. And they said, get to the US so you can fight. And he was like, I can't just,
he's got a family.
I can't just leave my family for God knows how long.
Also, the shot of his gym that they showed,
unreal.
They all had like the mattresses,
air mattresses on the floor watching. Because I'm sure, what was it? 5 a.m. over
6
there,
6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Oh my God. It just all the fights he had and this guy said yes to everybody.
Yeah.
He had Hamzat canceled twice. He said yes to Hamzat when he's a guy was on a 9-fight win streak, had no reason to take that fight and still was down to take it again. Then Hamzat gets COVID. Then he falls in the Bilal fight. Yep. He's dominating Bilal for like 3-4 minutes and then gets the eye poke and Bilal can't fight anymore. It's a no contest. He's thinking it's over. They're like and then Masvidal bails in the fight too. He's supposed to fight Masvidal.
Oh yeah.
In what was I think it was March.
Yeah.
And then early 2022.
But now Masvidal wants it again.
That honestly,
of course he does.
Masvidal was
tweeted
licking
immediately
his chops.
afterwards. Yeah.
Masvidal was like, title shot number 3. It's 1 fight away.
It's almost like McGregor. The way he does it is like he sees like an avenue and he's like, "Oh shit, title shot!"
And then he tweeted, "Style makes fights."
He literally posted a story, the
3-piece in the soda. Yeah, I heard we're going back to London.
Oh my God!
I saw someone post in the chat. Have we ever been to Longo's gym? I've been there a couple times. We should go there as a group though. That would be a super fun video.
Longo and
Sarah. Teaching us a few things.
Longo's. What I love the most about Merab's fight was like Merab, this guy from Georgia, and he was like, his English is really good, but he has an accent and whatnot. And then there's like just these two like New York, Long Island guys, like just
the
being
most
like
Long Island. Look at that motherfucker.
Yeah. And then Merab's just like this like guy from like the mountains of Georgia, and then he came over to America, and now he's just like a part of like the Long Island crew.
I wonder if he's been to Borelli's. I bet they took him to Borelli's.
One of the crazy thing is too that he in that like looking for a fight that he got found for the UFC, he knocked out Raytheon Stotts.
Oh
shit.
Before when he was basically there to like Raytheon was gonna win and then get signed.
Yeah. And
then Merab just landed a crazy spinning back fist and knocked him out like a minute into the fight, not even.
I think Merab tried that spinning back fist against Aldo on Saturday night.
He did throw it, yeah.
Aldo, like, I hope Aldo doesn't retire because he still has a lot left, but I get it.
Aldo Cruz fight in Brazil.
Yeah.
We were texting about it. That's a fucking fight.
You want to know what I think it is? I'm sure, listen, if Aldo still wants to fight, I'd love to see him fight again. He's a legend. I think I could see somebody from his point of view basically saying, my title shot's over.
Yeah.
That was the fight.
Probably,
That was the fight that if he beats Merab, he's probably next in line, considering what he's done the last few years. And I'm sure he probably had this deflated mindset of like, I lost to a guy lower than me.
Yeah.
Like now I'm like, how many fights from a title shot now? 2 or 3. That's
And
at his age. That might be a
Yeah.
lot.
He sees this
You were
car
right there.
this car pile up at the
Of
top
so
of the
many guys at
division.
the top.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then he sees the car pile up of like Aljamain and Marab are friends, and then you have Jan, and then you have obviously TJ, and there's guys coming up too, Vera.
Yeah, Vera, like if
O'Malley.
O'Malley somehow,
Yeah, O'Malley.
if he somehow beat Jan, obviously he'd be there. You also have
It'd be awesome if he did.
nuts Sanhagen Yadong. The winner of that's going to be up in the
Yep.
top 5 as well.
Yep.
Sanhagen already is obviously.
That
but the winner will
division,
definitely
yeah.
be there.
If I were
100 in the chat. We
Aldo,
just
I would want to stick around for like one more Brazil headliner. Like you could make a fight night in Brazil with Aldo's retirement at the top.
yeah.
Well,
And
I
it'd
think
be
I think
awesome.
there you put like if Oliveira fight there.
Oh yeah,
Figure-
I guess
you-
yeah.
I think you blow it out. You give like a
You do
Figueiredo's.
pay-per-view, yeah.
But did
Next
you hear the
defense.
crowd for Aldo?
They were going nuts in
dude,
Utah.
I mean, he's a legend,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Maybe there is a big Brazilian population in Utah. I'd be shocked because it is really far away.
I think
But
it's-
you never know.
I think it's more just MMA respect.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have 100 in the chat right now. Like the stream,
Like the
subscribe.
stream, yeah. Thanks for being
Thanks
here.
in the chat's great. We have it up. We're reading it, and if you ever have questions, just
Yeah, Jesse.
My apologies
Bam
for
fan.
talking too much. I get very excited.
No,
I
we're
get,
fired up.
We're
We
fired
got a
up.
lot to
Oh,
talk
I mean,
about.
I get fired up.
It was an amazing weekend in MMA.
I've been just chomping at the bit to talk
But
about
he
it.
was. I knew Ev was so chomping at the bit. I started my space, and he was like the first one in. And I was like, "Oh, let's get at it, man."
That's I in the group chat. I was like, "Fire the spaces up." I
can
was
tell
ready
ya,
to just talk about it.
I always have FOMO when you guys do a space because I always have someone sleeping next to
Oh,
me.
that's
and I'm
why.
just
Yeah.
like,
If you ever like,
I want to join and just whisper in.
I'm in my apartment just screaming in the phone. I'm like,
Crazy guys, I can't believe
it was crazy. We had.
I saw Blaze
Oz,
in there.
Blaze,
Yeah.
Magic. There's this guy who comes in a bunch who actually kind of like I forget his name.
I was
Like,
texting with Blaze. Blaze is
Ezekiel, I
fired
think-
up about the dozen. Patty's got a dozen team.
and he's on it.
The baddies, yeah.
Yeah.
Blaze,
But Blaze has
TJ,
been-
and
TJ, yeah.
Blaze
Patty.
has been a long time massive fan of the Dozens.
Yeah.
He would always text me about when Ev and I's team played, and now so yeah, that's hype
and,
for him.
and knows his stuff about a lot of
that's
sports
a
too.
good UFC team. TJ
Yeah.
knows UFC very well too.
Definitely, yeah.
He's a
Sneaky's been a fan for a long time.
very long time. He used to tell me that back in college, he would sit on his computer, watch a fight, random fight,
Okay.
then score it, and then compare his
The
score
judges.
to the judges to see how much he knew.
He's
Which
sending
is-
himself through judging school, essentially.
Yeah, which is funny because it's like we all hate the judges. So like,
Yeah.
but most of the time they're right. It's like there's that small percent. I didn't think there's any odd. I was about to say I don't think there's any bad decisions, but then I just remembered. What did you think about the Romanov Tybura? Was it a 10-8 first round? Was it not? Blaze was saying
It's-
that's a clear 10-8, 31 strikes to 0, but then Magic was saying he didn't injure. or,
No
like,
damage.
no damage.
No
Yeah.
damage. Honestly, he kind of did a heavyweight of what Kobe does.
yeah.
That was very-
yeah.
Be
It's
against
so
the
tough
cage,
because I feel like
the jackrabbit kind
I
of
see what you're
shots.
saying. Yeah.
I feel like there
You're not
can
really
be
hurting
two,
him.
There can be two like 10-8 rounds. One where you almost finish the guy,
Yes.
and one where it's complete and total 100% domination start to finish. And it's like,
It
It
pretty
was?
much was, to be honest.
where's that line? Like, it's like a meter going back.
Because
and forth, like-
obviously the reason they went to Tibera because only one of them gave him a 10-8.
yeah.
I would bet on Tibera. I was expecting it to be a draw.
We got the chalk guy in the chat. What's the chalk parlay
We
next
got
week,
fucked on
fellas?
the parlay
Yeah,
this
we
week.
did.
That
Was we got aggressive after. I think that was the one where if you were here, Fletcher wouldn't have found his way in.
Yeah.
I would have brought us
Because
down.
you were the one be like, yo, don't put the -160, which we would have kind of got fucked because Woodson went to the draw.
But they would have
Yeah.
got their money back.
Yeah, but that always annoys
Because
me
Patty's, I know.
because a
Patty.
draw in a parlay it's a win just for less.
Well, Patty and Molly's parlay hit, but didn't because of the
Yeah,
draw.
that's what they got fucked because that's a big one.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they had Leon in the parlay. They had
Yeah.
a +3, like 280.
I wonder if
in
they.
the parlay.
I'm sure they probably know Leon, right? He wasn't on either
Well-
of their cards, so
Well,
I
he's
wasn't
on-
around them with
he
them.
was he's from Birmingham,
Yeah,
which is far
I
away
think,
from
I think it's far. Yeah,
from Liverpool.
but you would
I
have
think.
to assume that they've
Yes.
been around each other in UFC, like England events.
Woodson did get lucky. I agree.
Woodson, yeah.
He did get lucky for sure. That
I
probably should have
wonder
been
if
a
they
loss.
know Leon. I would like to like interview Leon, especially after all of that. He would be like an amazing.
Well, did you see his
Dream guest,
interview on
basically.
Ariel?
I saw a lot of
show?
clips from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing against Usman. I actually think Usman's growing to his own on the mic, and it's hard to like these guys that are their whole life elite competitors, and it's like, no, you also have to have this
Yeah, go be a
amazing
showman.
personality,
Yeah,
and he's getting there. But Leon's just like just has it. When he was
Yeah.
on the mic and when he was talking, you could feel it. You never got that from
Could you even feel
Kamaru.
it? Like they kept showing the clip of after his first UFC fight. I just want to get better and better. He kept saying that. Like even in that first promo, you could see something there from
All right, so
a personality standpoint.
Birmingham's in the middle of London and Liverpool. So
Oh, so not too far.
not too far.
Because I think London and Liverpool are like 3 hours,
Yeah, so
All right.
3-4.
here, Birmingham. It's not Ham like
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
London, Liverpool.
I saw I watched Patty and Dave's podcast. I don't know
Really
if you guys
good.
saw that. Yeah, it was a great conversation.
Dave not knowing
But
the
I
difference
think
between
Dave
Champions
said-
League and Premier League is
That was funny.
hilarious.
and Patty explaining to him that you can't say KOS.
Yeah, but
and
Dave
Dave was like, "Whoa, what?" Like he needs to keep doing it.
he needs to, because it's so funny because the
Yeah.
soccer fans get so mad about it
Yeah.
because he essentially goes, "Let's go Coys," which is saying "Let's go, come on you Spurs," which is
Yeah.
like, and he's like the Tottenham Coys. It's like no,
See,
that's
And
not the
Dave
name.
kept putting the ham, and Patty was just like the
See,
American pronunciation.
Well, they say COYS.
No, they say
they say
Coys.
come on you
Just come
Spurs.
on, you
Yeah, you
Spurs,
wouldn't
okay.
like
But Dave essentially says like their nickname.
It's
is
almost
Coys.
like
Coys, yeah,
But their
calling-
nickname is
Yeah,
Tottenham
yeah.
Spurs.
It's like saying like I watch UFSA. And
Yeah.
people being like the UFC, like like it's like
watch
what are you
UFSA.
talking about,
I
bro?
watch Ofsa.
You could say
I watch
Coys, but
Ma.
so,
Ma.
so if you walk by like a fan on the street and you're a Tottenham fan or supporter, you'd be like, "Come on, you Spurs!"
Yeah.
You wouldn't be
Coys.
Coys.
Yeah. You're like, what?
But Dave, that's Dave's lane.
Oh, it's
so
perfect.
funny.
I love soccer, and they've actually been pretty good since he started rooting for him, right?
Yes,
Like all of a sudden they're turning it around.
they turned around last season. They got a new coach and like their players started playing well, and they got
The
some
clip
transfers.
of the coach grabbing that guy's fucking hand
So
is great.
funny. Antonio Conte and I hate that Chelsea guy, Thomas Tuchel, but
To borrow a segment from Pardon My Take, and that was talking soccer.
yeah, yeah. I will say though, I think we'll be, and hopefully we're all still around, but in 10 years, I think MMA will take over boxing for the number 2 sport in England.
I
In
hope so.
Europe.
I mean, look at what's going on right now in
I
the
know.
scene. Aspinall, Patty, Molly, Edwards. Hopefully Darren Till gets back
Get
in there
back.
soon. He would be a great
Till
one
and
to add to
Bisping
the
were
mix.
really like
Bisping is-
revolutionaries.
Bisping, even just being a media personality right
Yeah.
now
It
around the
helps
sport
for
is
sure.
great. Yeah,
Dan Hardy.
Dan Hardy,
great one.
who was on PFL this weekend.
Yeah.
I hope they do more with him on
I
PFL.
hope
He's good.
I want him to be like the color guy.
He'd be
'Cause
great.
when they break to him, he has so much to say. It's like when Dean Thomas talks, it's like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But then like Hardy talks for like a minute and 30, which is great, but it's like I'm sure it's not great TV, quote unquote. Loud shots are like, gotta get this guy off.
I wonder if he was over there in London. I haven't talked to him.
I don't know. He wasn't. Well, he wasn't at the one in New York.
I know.
I'm not
Yeah, we
sure.
missed him. We missed out on him. PFL though continues to be great. Did you guys watch the bare knuckle fight?
No, I didn't get. To
I
see
got
it.
to
That
I
was-
watched
that,
the replay.
that was like the only thing I saw. I saw the last like few rounds of the boxing match.
It's pretty
So I do
crazy.
have-
Mike
I do
Perry
have the
fucking
zone.
won.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen. He dropped him early. I wish I could have watched that. I'll try to.
But
Maybe.
did you see what happened? They
Like
went to an overtime round.
overtime round,
Oh, yes,
almost
yes.
Ultimate Fighter
That's what I
style.
was
Like
gonna
they
say.
do,
It's
Yeah.
like the sudden death round. Yeah.
They do a whole decision and then an extra round. And Mike Perry called it too. He was earlier in the week saying like, "We're going to an extra round, and then I'm gonna beat you there. Like I'm gonna outlast you, whatever." Paulo Costa said on Ariel's show that he wants Jake Paul to fight Mike Perry. And I'm
I
like,
think that's a fight that makes sense.
oh my god, that would be awesome.
Perry's
because
small. Perry's smaller than him, but I think it's a
He's
fight
smaller,
that
but
makes sense.
you know
He can
Perry's
hit-
going to
he-
come
he-
forward
he
and
can-
be a
yep, he's gonna
savage in
bring it
that
to
fight.
him.
Yeah,
He can hit hard.
he's not
going to
give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, then,
but
I'm
Jake
into
Paul
it.
could probably hit him with the right shot and knock him out. So it's
For
like
sure,
from Jake
yeah,
Paul's
yeah,
perspective,
why not?
Why not?
them two would have great back and forths as well.
And imagine he got like Costa in his corner almost, like Costa tweeting about it and everything. You could generate interest in that fight. The last fight that he was going to do at the Garden,
Yeah.
nobody cared about that.
The Fury, I would have been interested in. The random guy, it was just like,
The Fury, that was fine opponent. Even that was a bit
I know
like
what you're saying. Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like the one where it was like, all right, I guess he's going to fight him.
So this guy in the chat is saying that I wasn't seeing a lot of this. He thinks that Mike Perry lost. I guess I didn't get to watch the fight, so I can't speak on it.
I watched it on my
a lot
phone.
of what I was seeing media wise and people that watched it didn't seem to have an issue with the decision.
yeah.
He's one of the first I'm seeing have like
Also,
Well, it was like
MVP
Perry was good in the beginning, then MVP took over the fight, and
that's kind of what I read. That it was like Perry won the first round,
but he kind of
MVP
gassed.
kind of took over, and then Perry kind of took over at the end. That was the
Yes.
way it was described to me.
I would
Like
say
kinda how
that's accurate.
The
Yeah.
momentum, if you will, of the fight.
Perry won the final round, which if the fight is
That's
decided
what everyone
on
said
that,
to me as well, that he clearly won the
Yeah.
last round. Okay, so he says that as well. Perry won the first round.
Yeah.
Won the OT round.
yeah.
I do kind of like, I don't know why, but I do love how much people turned on Jake Paul with those tweets.
No, I turned on him.
It was
I
a for real like ratioing. By
No,
Ariel.
I didn't appreciate it.
Ariel,
I just think you can't like.
It
was
wasn't
crazy,
like
yeah.
one.
He kept going every round.
I
yeah.
just think there's a certain level. Listen, he's been in more of the game. I've never boxed or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's a legit boxer. He's like a little bit in the game now. I just think like, how dare you like have a few
Yeah.
boxing matches and be talking about these dudes that literally chosen like the life of a legit gladiator. Like I would
and fought for it every step of the way, like to make their money.
Who like won Strikeforce, like made his way to the top.
Yeah.
Not even just, and I wouldn't even say this about some journeyman, but I just think like a guy who like he wasn't a YouTuber who made money
Exactly.
and then chose boxing to make more money. Like this dude who got it out the
They're
fucking
fighting
mud.
for their lives.
Like literally got out the mud.
Also, Jake
So,
Paul,
like,
you can do MMA.
yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do
Step
that.
over
yeah,
here,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I promise you, Luke Rockhold just retired. If
Yeah.
you want to fight
Fight-
him
oh,
in
he
an
would do
MMA
it.
match, he'll unretire and fight
Yeah,
you in the
yeah,
octagon.
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
That's easy money.
Yeah.
I think because you want to talk about he's fighting guys that swallow them. Rockhold ain't smaller.
No.
No.
Rockhold
Rockhold's
will
the
get
size.
right back up to
If you want to
205.
talk about you like beat someone that's the same size, Rockhold's the same size. They could get
Yeah.
it.
Rockhold, when he was in there,
Rockhold would come in there off a bender. I think to handle him
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Rockhold,
Very
when he was
quickly
in
with
there,
submission
As long
game.
as it's not in the Mountain West.
yeah.
yeah.
Let's fight in New York or Miami
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
bring it to the garden like
Coast.
Jake Paul wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dana White would probably be like, let's go. I'll co-promote it.
He'll just be like, huh.
yeah. What else was there to talk about over
Rough
the
and
weekend? Did you guys
rowdy.
watch the Joshua fight? I did not watch
I watched
the
it,
Joshua
it
fight.
was-
Last
was
3
boring.
or 4 rounds.
Was it
so-
as people said? Like,
So yeah, Usyk. I thought it was the right score. I actually thought it shouldn't have been a split. I thought Usyk won. Close fight though. Like not like a total just like masterclass. I was surprised. So in the 9th round, Joshua had a big round. Where I was like, wow, maybe something could happen here.
Yeah.
Where like maybe he can even get a finish. Like he really was putting it on him. And then Usyk just kind of, I was impressed by Usyk. He came back and won what I thought probably at least 2 of the last 3 rounds.
he had such a great look.
Definitely the last round, in my opinion. Probably the last 2, in my opinion. He definitely won 11 and 12, I thought. The others, right? I still haven't seen. I need to watch. There was so much going on that day I didn't really get to see. I need to watch this blow up by Joshua post fight.
I watched
I know
it.
I didn't see it either.
I was
People were
on.
saying
I
it
was
a
watching
TED
on the
Talk,
zone.
like-
I literally just like I basically read the decision was read. Usyk won. I was like the right decision, and then turned it off.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
So what was the blow up about?
just,
The
like-
scorecards.
No, he just like got on the mic and just like talked about how he like kind of like told his story. He's like, I grew up and like you guys don't get it. Like if you did, you would understand that I'm the guy
Were
that
people
was
booing
like,
him.
not really. And then he
like grabbed the belts and like threw them out of the
Yeah.
ring. And Usyk was like, "What are you doing?" Bro?
yeah, and then
It was explained to me what happened. some
and
of it.
then he said something about Ukraine that was really cringe. He was like, I don't know what's going on in your country, but I know it's not good. It was like weird, like
He's
such a
kinda like-
weird thing to
way
say
it was
about
explained-
the situation.
Yeah.
It was kind of explained to me as well. He basically just like took the moment from Usyk.
That's what it
Like
was.
he just kind of like took the mic and like took over the whole thing. He was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, like you lost.
Get out of
Like,
the ring.
although you lost again.
let the guy have his
like
moment,
Usyk
yeah.
clearly won. Like let him
Usyk
have his
had, I
moment.
feel like Usyk had a lot of support going into the fight, like all week, because he had the little Eeyore stuffed animal with him that he said his daughter gave to him and said was like his talisman or something.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be your warrior, and he brought
But
it everywhere.
Usyk-
He had the look, like
Yeah, when Joshua was speaking, Usyk was like the whole time. So he like then
weird flex, but okay.
yeah, but Joshua's a weird guy, and I get it because since he was a kid, he's been seen as the
made
future.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't like. I don't think he really has like.
he's like almost like a
Social
real
skills.
life Ivan Drago in terms of how he
Have
was
you
like
s-
built up.
he-
Like,
Have you
builds
seen the
up and kinda has
video?
like you got knocked out by a fat guy.
yeah,
Then you're just not like I think he gets smoked by Wilder. I think he gets smoked by Fury.
Fury smokes him.
Have you seen the video of him going up into a dorm room at an English university?
I don't think so.
So he was like walking through somewhere, and people were yelling out their windows at him, like probably classic.
There's a video of
trash.
McGregor seeing like a cut up of him and him going up and being like, "Oh, what's up?" saying hi.
But-
One of those.
One of those, but opposite. They were yelling at him, poor, like
Oh,
like you
okay.
stink, Joshua. I don't think any racist remarks that would make it different. But he went into the dorm, went all the way up to the room, and then just went into the room and just reprimanded this like 19-year-old Brit. Was like, you can't be saying that. Like he was like, that's so disrespectful. And then
Yeah.
it was just like, it's a very weird video. And that's what I was reminded of when he was on the mic. He was like, you don't get it
You don't get what's going on right now
in the world, like at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and then he took the moment from Usyk. I don't even think Usyk really cared, but he was just like, what are you doing, dude? I think
Yeah.
that's like Big Ed just said. He
It
was
was
like,
Large. I was talking to Large about before. He was like, yeah, because I asked him. I was like, I haven't even see what happened. And Large kind of gave me the little detailed rundown
Yeah.
of what happened. He was like, yeah, that he grabbed the two belts and like threw them out of the ring. And Usyk was kind of like, what are you, those are my belts. I didn't know I took them from you. Like, what are you, well, I took them from the last fight.
This all makes me like Usyk even
He's
more.
like, what are you doing, man?
Usyk wasn't even mad. He was just like,
Yeah,
was like,
that
what?
makes me
That's
like
what
him more.
Large
Him
said. Large
having
just
a
kind of was like,
confused
bro, like, what are you
reaction.
doing? Like,
Yeah,
you lost.
that's great.
That's also, someone said it. Dan Murphy, he said that too, where Joshua said, Large said this to me, that Joshua said to him, how did you beat me? I'm the
Yes.
best in the world. And he was like,
I
what do
don't
you
know, dude. I guess you're not.
I just beat you twice, like
Yeah,
in a row,
yeah.
like, pretty decisively as well.
And the general public wasn't saying after those fights like, "Oh, what a robbery! He didn't even beat him."
No, I mean
Like,
the first. I think
everyone
the
agrees.
The first time I think was more like they both were decisive, in my opinion. The first was more like he clearly won the first one, like no
Yeah.
doubter. This one was a split. Like I said, I don't think it should have been a split. I went back and watched the beginning after, and to me, it was like, yeah. I mean, I think Usyk was clearly he won probably 12 rounds. He probably won 7 or 8 of them. I mean,
Do we have to get to this meeting at 4? Is that a
yeah,
important thing?
the
Gambling
compliance.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess.
All
I did
right,
it last year.
folks. We got I kind of remember it from last year, and I'm like, I don't even really talk gambling much, but we're gonna go to a gambling meeting.
compliance, which we are always complying
It's a
here.
yearly thing, I guess. Yeah,
We
we
gamble-
comply.
We
but-
want to be like, we want to make sure that we don't cost the company millions upon millions of dollars, because
that would be rough.
really rough.
That would be tough. So thanks for tuning
Do
in.
you like anybody in Dana White's Contender Series tonight?
So the one I like a lot of the dog. I think some of the dogs are live.
All right.
Doing some of the research, I got a good line on Aguilar. The other one that I liked too, real quick, was Simon. He's fighting the Korean guy.
Okay.
I
So-
liked some of the research I did, which is me like just topology and like watch like.
Are
one
we going to be
fight.
back on Thursday? Should we? Okay, cool. We'll be back on Thursday. We could do a draft.